Sometimes I wonder if certain kids' movies are actually made more for us, the adults, rather than for the kids. The other day I was watching Inside Out 2 with my kiddos, and I know the goal of this movie was to explain something really complicated in a way that's easier to understand. But even then, kids don't fully understand it the way we do, because they haven't gone through all of these experiences yet. But this movie does such a great job explaining how anxiety works and how our emotions shape who we are. And because of that, I wanted to bring my findings to you today to explain what I took away from this movie. And I think it'll help you better understand that anxiety isn't the bad guy. Our emotions work together, and it's not necessarily about overcoming anxiety. It's more about learning how to manage it. Do you ever feel like your thoughts are tangled? You have an endless to-do list and you just don't have enough time? Do you crave a slower, more intentional life filled with peace, purpose, and joy? If that sounds like you, you're in the right place. Hi friend, I'm Sigoni, and this is Crocheting Through Emotions, the podcast for moms who feel overwhelmed, anxious, and disconnected from who they really are. Here we'll talk about renewing your mind, letting go of perfectionism, and finding simple ways to manage stress and anxiety. We'll explore tools like creativity, crochet, mindfulness, journaling, and even how faith can fit into the everyday chaos of motherhood. So grab your yarn or just a quiet moment for yourself. It's time to stop going through the motions and start crocheting through those emotions, one stitch at a time. Since I'm going to be referencing this movie a lot today, let me give you a brief synopsis on what it's about if you've never seen it or heard of it. This movie, Inside Out 2, is about a young girl who's hitting her teenage years, and you know what that means: puberty, identity changes, friendship shifts, and lots of new emotions. In the first movie, we met joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, the core emotions that helped Riley, the main character, make sense of the world as a kid. But now that she's getting older, new emotions move in. There's anxiety, the star of the show, and also envy, embarrassment, and ennui, which is basically boredom. So now if I say random emotions, you'll know that I'm referencing the characters in the movie. So, when we're little, our core beliefs or our sense of self are usually so simple and positive. For example, Riley starts out with core beliefs like, I'm kind, I'm brave, I'm a good friend, I'm funny, I'm a good daughter. And we all start with these positive beliefs, and it's these thoughts that all come together to create who we are. But as we grow up, things start to get a little more complicated. Anxiety creeps in, whether it's from pressure to fit in, to please our parents, or just figuring out who we are during those awkward teen years and into adulthood. We start to experience fear. Some of us experience trauma. We become insecure. We develop perfectionism. The intrusive thoughts step in, and we start to believe we're not good enough. But I'm getting ahead of myself. In the beginning of the movie, there's a part where Riley's core emotions, joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust, start tossing out the memories that feel embarrassing or painful. And it made me think, wow, we all do that, don't we? Just like joy, we say, we keep the best and toss the rest. But when we suppress our emotions too much and for too long, it'll burst like water breaking through a dam. But before that breakage, we act as if everything's fine, even though deep down, it's starting to bubble up. My kids were talking about how anxiety is the bad guy in the movie, and of course she's portrayed that way. Every movie has to have a villain. But I love that they don't just leave it at that. When anxiety enters the picture, she explains that fear's job is to protect Riley from the things she can see, while anxiety's job is to protect her from the things she can't see. Anxiety isn't bad, it's really just trying to help. it just gets a little too protective sometimes. So, what is anxiety really? It's actually our body's natural response to stress. It triggers your fight or flight response. It keeps us safe by increasing alertness, focus, and energy to deal with threats or challenging situations. For example, if you're walking down the street looking down at your phone, and then you look up and see a car or someone riding by really fast on a bike, anxiety kicks in, and without thinking, you jump to the side to avoid an accident. But when anxiety gets excessive or a little too protective and starts to interfere with daily life, that's when it becomes an anxiety disorder. Now, back to the movie. As it goes on, Riley tries to fit in with the cool kids. She casts her friends aside, starts acting like a different person. She starts hiding parts of herself. But the more she tries to be someone she's not, the more everything inside her mind starts falling apart. And isn't that true for us too? The more we pretend or hide parts of ourselves, the more disconnected we feel. Anxiety tries to think of everything that could go wrong just to protect you. But when it takes over, it can actually change your personality. And if we let this go on for too long, we start to lose ourselves. We forget who we used to be, the things we used to enjoy, and we start to believe things like, I'm not good enough. And then that becomes your new core belief. And when that belief is at the center of your core, you end up doing things just to prove yourself, even when it doesn't align with who you really are or who you want to be. At this point in the movie, Joy starts to lose hope and she feels lost. She says, I don't know how to stop anxiety. Maybe we can't. Maybe this is what happens when you grow up. You feel less joy. This part gives me the chills, and it begins the waterworks every time. It hits me hard because it is so relatable. And this is the part where you have a choice to either let anxiety steal your joy or to get back up and search for the light. In reality, many of us choose the first road. We let the racing thoughts and the insecurity and the negative self-talk spiral, and it turns into a never-ending cycle. And when we're in the thick of it, it's hard to find our way out. It feels like we're frozen, like we're stuck, that there's no escape. But in the movie, Joy convinces anxiety to let go of control. And in the end, anxiety says, I'm sorry. I was just trying to protect her. That part. Wow. It makes you see things in a whole new light. Anxiety isn't evil. It's just scared. It's trying to help, but it can't do it on its own. It needs friends to work alongside it. After my explanation, my kids seemed to understand a little bit better. They were like, okay, fine, I get how anxiety can be good sometimes, but there is nothing good about envy or embarrassment. What do you think? Right or wrong? At first instinct, you'd probably think that's true, but when you think deeper, it's really not. Every emotion has a purpose, even the ones we don't like. Embarrassment and envy actually help us grow. Embarrassment helps us learn, and envy can even motivate us. But just like anxiety, when it gets out of control, that's when it becomes a problem. The real growth comes when you realize you're not perfect. Not that you don't have to be perfect, but that you're actually not perfect, because none of us are. There's no striving to be perfect because perfection is impossible. So let me say that again. When you finally accept that you are not perfect, that you have both good and not so good parts, the more you become self-aware. And when you stop trying to bury or hide the things you don't like about yourself, you finally make space to breathe. So to wrap this all up, anxiety is not the bad guy. Its job is to protect us. It's just when we let it get out of hand that it freezes and becomes a vicious cycle. It's not about getting rid of anxiety. It's about learning how to manage it. It's about learning to be friends with all of your emotions and letting them work with you instead of against you. And you can do that by learning more about it, by practicing mindfulness, by using crochet and other crafts as creative coping tools, by becoming self-aware, and by journaling. If you're a visual learner, your homework is to grab a mindless crochet project and watch Inside Out 2 tonight. You don't even have to have kids. It's such a great visual way to understand how anxiety works and how we can find our way back to joy. And if you're more of a logical, detail-oriented learner, I highly recommend the book Unwinding Anxiety by Dr. Judd Brewer. It completely changed the way I view anxiety. Remember, no matter who you are or what level of anxiety you have, there is a way out. The more knowledgeable you become, the more empowered you will feel, and the less anxiety will affect you. Thanks so much for spending this time with me on Crocheting Through Emotions. If today's episode encouraged you, it would mean the world if you left a review. This small act helps other overwhelmed mamas find this space of cozy creativity. And if you've been wanting to try crochet as a way to slow down and feel grounded, my free Learn to Crochet Masterclass is a great place to start. You can find the link in the show notes. Until next time, keep creating, stay present, and remember, you are right where you need to be.